Alright, so what we have here is the dev fighting 4 new players. So the Martyr of Karak playing the ANS call sign versus a team of 2. So team Martyr of Karak has about 12,000, the other team has about 3,000 each. So Martyr of Karak's going to come from a whole bunch of different positions. Be interesting to see where he goes because he hasn't actually positioned. He hasn't actually. Be interesting to see where he goes because he hasn't sort of stacked it on one side. We can see VXM, SMS, and Tran all looking for point E initially. So let's check out Martyr of Karak's fleet first. 1 Axford, 2 Axford, so 2 heavy cruisers with rails. So 2 heavy cruisers with rails. I would anticipate missile corvettes, missile frigates. Light cruisers with guns, 250s and VL-16s, and beam destroyers with torps, I would reckon. On the other side, looks like Mars Lettuce has beam destroyers supported with defenders and Mark 62s maybe, or 64s, the 250s. SDS, it's like a missile, maybe torp light cruiser. No torps, probably missile roll-offs. And these look like a missile corvette with missile defense, probably early warning, and a battleship. Big railgun battleship with a strong amount of point defense on it. So we've got a spotting Thunderhead being fired out. Martyr of Karak's moving the frigates down the bottom into point D. He's got his spotter craft up here, sort of going high. Likely to counter anything that is up the top here, so probably trying to look for anything and to destroy any spotter craft. We're likely to see Green Girl We're likely to see Green Girl impact with Suppimite and with Lithium. So they're on a collision course. Laser is pretty good at going underground or underneath the train, so we're expecting to see that really well. A scouting Thunderhead being fired out by Odin's Eye. And we've had a Thunderhead launch from Mars Lettuce. Now it doesn't look like this ship from Mesa has any point defense. So if these Thunderheads identify it, it's out. Railgun fire from the battleship and the heavy cruisers. So Mesa's anti-spotter is probably destroyed. Yep, it's destroyed. You can see the space oil fired. And we've got the heavy cruiser with rails engaging that battleship, and that battleship still engaging the corvette, but it is destroyed. as this battleship flies in, there's going to be two heavy cruisers with railguns engaging this battleship here. So it's going to split the battleship's attention. Still got the two corvettes up the top. Don't know what that beam destroyer is doing. It looks like that formation's trying to reorientate. And we'll soon see Mazer uncover fighting these beams. So it's going to be a beam off. C's been captured by Mazer's light cruiser. Life pods have ejected from Green Girl. Looks like the southern keep's gone too far off the map. Probably needs to come back in. Beam destroyers engaging each other soon. Mazer's got the first lead with 12 points. So there we are over at D. It's 2 beam destroyers versus 3, but Mazer may be able to out micro this one. There we go, first beam out. Looks like it's moving onto target. Alright, so we've got the first beam engagement occurring. 2 beams versus 3 beams, but Mazer's got the drop. He's likely battle shorting his beams to get the maximum damage. And that's taken a lot of hits. There we go. Those 2 beams are still firing. Some cannons coming back from Mars, but he's probably not orientating fast enough. They're maces, I think. That's torps. Those torps are out. Lots of point defense from Mars, which is preventing some, but 1 hit there. Looks like a beam's taken that one out. 4 has hit Girl of Muriel, so that's almost destroyed, I would say. He's lost Heaps and Gizmo, and this one here looks like it's really suffering. And it's nowhere near facing. So 2 of Mazer's beams have destroyed 1. I would say this one is undertaking damage control, but I would call it dead. If we look at the orange, that's fires inside. And this last one's just drifting, but it's going to be destroyed. So if we jump back to the wider view, down in the middle here, these frigates look like they're taking damage with the corvettes. 2 corvettes destroyed here, 3 on point E. Life pods are out, space oils deployed, and they're going to start to dump their thunderheads. Looks like the rail guns from above is what did that damage. These thunderheads aren't going to go anywhere. That ship's dead. The VXM has lost a heavy cruiser. That's a massive blow. And I'm a bit sad that we missed that one. Massive thunderhead on, not massive, good thunderhead launch here from Lilith and Stumpy Might. Railguns coming in. I anticipate these look like defenders, so they're probably going to be able to shoot down the incoming thunderheads. Rails are still going down on the battleship. Oh, we've got Auroras actually. Not defenders, it looks like 4 Auroras. Actually, stand by. It's a bit of both Auroras and defenders. So they should very much be able to engage this. 1 strike and a bit of chaff. Other than that, that point defense is probably going to be able to easily defend from the rest of them. Got a thunderhead launch over on Delta. So that's a frigate curving missiles round through D. Not sure where they're going, maybe up and over. Mazer's got his fleet of 2 missile frigates, but it doesn't look like it's going to see anything yet. It looks like all these thunderheads are just going to hit straight into that piece of terrain. So those thunderheads, they're not going to do anything. jump to the battleship. It's firing its rails, getting good hits onto this light cruiser here, who's returning with 250 fire. Expect that this battleship is going to destroy the light cruiser. However, it's also taking railgun fire from behind from this heavy cruiser back there. At this point, Maze is still ahead. He's captured 1 point, and so has the other team. So this is an objective-based game, and it is important to maintain that focus.
The enemy is securing zone dagger.
Thunderhead's going out from Mazer. We zoom back just to see where they're going. I reckon they're going towards that battleship up there. So Thunderhead's also being deployed from the light cruiser, who's probably going to distract. Some chaff coming out from Tran. And this is just a massive salvo of Thunderhead. So this is what you'd consider a massive salvo. He's just emptying those frigates. So think about this as that, advanced missile tutorial. This battleship has all the Auroras that are going to be able to engage. However, these Thunderheads, if they can get through the chaff, they're going to make some damage here. So he looks like he's leading it. Oh, no. They're hitting the edge of their limitation. So that was 14,000 meters. They're just harmlessly exploding. All those Thunderheads gone. Maze has now captured point D. We've had a reactor explosion down from Mars Lettuce's beam destroyers. Beautiful. So Mars Lettuce, he's out. Got Thunderheads coming down in on the Odin's Eye. Missing through the chaff. So Odin's Eye continues to live. Squalls coming out from the Mori. So let's see if Mazer takes the option of jamming, if he knows that these are squalls, or if in fact he knows that they are and he doesn't turn his jammer on. Looks like the Auroras will just take care of all that. Looks like another missile salvo up the top, being fired into the midst of light cruisers and frigates. Okay, some hits. More squalls being fired out. Looks like the missiles here are just not in enough. Oh no. Thunderhead's hitting really well into Mazer's ship. Looks like we've got a fuel leak here. Let's see from the damage there. Elevation on those guns, trying to get a good track up here. Squalls. So that's good damage. It looks like Orange is going to be able to defend that point. Up above, we've now got Thunderheads coming back in on the light cruiser here. Aurora's firing to counter. But so close to that rail ship, that over penetration is absolutely doing some damage. Thunderhead got through. The Aurora's not tracking well. That's 3 hits on that light cruiser, who's just probably going to keep drifting, but it's going to dump some hurricanes. Look at that light show from the battleship, Odin's Wrath. It just continues to negate all the missiles that are being dropped as it continues to put into the new mile, who's just going to burn away with its maneuvering thrusters. Alright, so if we jump back, it's two capture points each, 168 to Mazer, the dev, 130 to the new players. Now Orange doesn't have anything on this half of the map, so D's probably very secure from Mazer's perspective. Nothing's captured C. But that light cruiser may be destroyed here with all these thunderheads. It's going to try and get out of position, get out of the way, but look, it doesn't seem to be going to have enough point defense or chaff to distract those missiles, so they all hit. No one's captured point A in the middle. That's interesting. You could have used one of these corvettes here to duck in, then duck out. The new mile, it's still taking damage. It's trying to get around this piece of terrain. Want to get that battleship here just starting to drift around and follow, because it's going to be faster. There it goes. This damaged ship, it's not going to move fast at all. Odin's Wrath's doing really, really well. Still got the rail cruiser up here. I'm not seeing it shoot anything. Just check its angles. It's not doing anything. These ones are fine, so that's good. Snowpillar, however, is firing. See the battleship's exhaust down there. So the VXM Southern Keep, that was destroyed out the back. Unsure how that occurred, actually, so it'd be interesting to know. Thunderhead's being launched from Mesa. He's just stacked this frigate. So 16, that's 64 missiles per frigate. All these Thunderheads coming in. They're aiming at the point. They don't seem to be hitting anything at the moment over here, but they seem to be engaging their targets. A point defense from a number of ships, all using rebounds. That flak is just, and a bit of chaff, that's just distracted all the missiles. It's a good thing to know that Orange has a 2,000 point advantage. Mesa's got 10,000 points. The other team's got 3,000 points each, so that's 12,000 points in total. Odin's Wrath, depending on what it's going to do, is it going to come around? It looks like it's actually going to burn away and just leave that one alone. Mesa's capping, Orange is capping point A, so they're finally getting the one in the middle with the corvettes. And this rail cruiser here is not firing anything. I wonder if those top ones are destroyed, if it's lost its ammo. Just wondering why it's not firing, because that's a lot of fire support. This light cruiser down here, it's still alive. Looks like it's going to try and capture point E, which there is nothing at the moment in between it and point E. Orange has got point B, which is going to be fine, but they're going to start to move away and through, so they're going to miss the fact that the Alto ferry is going to capture point E.
The enemy secured Zone Atlas.
Odin's Wrath is back attacking the new mile, so it has come around. It's now taking fire from the snow pillar. It's got a couple holes in it, but it's really realistically going to be fine. Odin's Wrath is going back against the snow pillar now. A hit there from the snow pillar down onto Odin's Wrath. Alto Ferry looks like it's firing. Oh, sorry, the new mile's getting its shots in. Those rails are missing. Thunderheads coming in from Mesa. They look like they're just being countered. These two ships are probably getting near empty if they're not empty. And the Nomad Giant up the top is now shooting down and engaging these four. So it's got a beautiful top-down position. I would look at seeing that he's got the sort of the position over these fleet. But you got to make sure you actually hit the stuff. So at the moment, the rail cruiser seems to be rail heavy cruiser seems to be missing the light cruiser. New miles just leisurely jumping around. We've got the beam destroyers now coming out from point B, I believe they were at. Rail cruiser coming down from the top, beams from the bottom. Again, likely battle shorting here. And just dancing across the length of that ship. So it's discharging its rails back, but with these sort of beams, and as the ships get closer, as the destroyers get closer, these beams are going to get stronger. So this could almost be the end for this. We'll see at the post-game summary how much damage actually was done, both by the beams and what this ship looked like internally. There we go. We got some maces fired close range from these destroyers. This could end this battleship. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we've got another round of maces fired down here. Got some more maces. No point defense. Looks like it's been negated. Another 4, so that's 8. And we've got a fuel leak by the looks of it out the back, so we'll see. Keep an eye on this ship. Still neck and neck. C's going to be captured. And that's it. Odin's Wrath is destroyed by a combination of beams and 8 maces, but another mace puts it out of action just to be sure. Railguns are still firing. It doesn't need to. The new mile gets away. It took a lot of punishment from that battleship, but it seems to be still moving fine. Maze has obviously healed or repaired the important positions or the important components. So it's allowed to continue to fight another day, maybe go capture a point. It's got the fuel fire going on here, so we're expecting this to explode. And Maze is probably trying to get it to explode on purpose. Life pods out. There we go. We got the purple. Life pods out. I think Maze is trying to proc the reactor. Life pod's still going. Thunderheads fired from the missiles over on the side. Point defense from the heavy cruisers, probably going to take care of those. Whilst returning with the returning railgun fire. Defenders taking a really good stance here from a head-on position, and the chaff really detonating and destroying that. We want to make sure that we capture this when it explodes. Maze's snow pillar can probably stop firing on this one. Switch to another target. So let's have a look to see what's left. Maze has got point D. There's nothing on that side of the map yet. but we've got 2 corvettes moving to capture point D. Likewise, point C is undefended. Mazer's going to go capture that. Point E is under Mazer's control, and it looks like the Alto Ferry is going to capture point A. And there's the frigate from the missile frigate down here. Well, missile slash early warning jamming. So that's still alive, and it looks like it's going for point E. So it looks like we're just going to swap points at this point in time of the game. Still waiting for this battleship to explode. So Zone Atlas being captured by Mazer. The new mile is engaging Mars Lettuce's corvettes. There we go, getting some good shots, good spread. Beam Destroyer is now targeting that corvette. Rail's still going into the battleship. 250s into that corvette, which is dead. Although that's still allowed 1 corvette to get behind the train to go capture point D. And these rail cruisers, these rail heavy cruisers, have really sort of provide that overwatch in this game. 250s, small cannons. Mazer's trying to create space, backpedaling with his heavy cruiser while continuing the railgun engagement. We're not seeing any shots come back against this heavy cruiser at all either. Mazer's going back for capture point C, so Team 2 is in the lead, but you know, this is only a matter of time. So these frigates can hold this point. Point E is still going to be captured by Odin's Eye. Point A is under control. You probably start to move towards capture point B. And there was a beam destroyer around here as well, so it'll be interesting to know where that's going. Railguns coming head on into that light cruiser, so that over penetration is just going to go straight through. Got the other railgun heavy cruiser now moving in, enfilade fire coming down into this light cruiser. Thunderheads coming in from the Alto Ferry. Some rebounds coming out from that frigate. Heavy cruisers now targeting that with rails to destroy the point defense. It just looks like the rebounds are taking out those Thunderheads, so no damage there. Mazer's in the lead, 636. Sumpy Mites capturing point D.
The enemy secured zone dagger.
You've got railgun, heavy cruiser still fighting the PD. Looks like that light cruiser has been sort of negated, as has that frigate. We've just got these 2 corvettes and one corvette, 1 frigate now actually making their way forward. They're not going to really damage this heavy cruiser. That's it. Mazer wins on 664 to 624. It looks like all the enemy ships on the team orange have lost offensive capability.